Welcome back. Today we'll be talking about a new state for Zool. It's called Object Zool Wall. And Zool has the ability to climb walls and also cling to walls. And so we're going to add that capability to our game right now. We'll start with a create event. So let's do that. Let's create. Now we want to set the depth to -1001 because we want this to be in front of anything else that's on the tile layer or even on the game layer. In the create event, we want to set the state to z state climb. So let's do that. So in Object Zool Wall, there are two states. First state is z state climb. The second one is z state cling. We do each one, but we start out in the climb state. We want to set the gravity. It's here. Direction is 270, and the gravity is 0. It's just shutting off gravity. Okay, next we want to set the friction. That one's here. We'll set that to 0 as well. Now we do a move fixed. And we want the vertical direction to stop as well. I think that stops everything. Now we're going to go to a begin step event. And then we're going to start out in the cling state. And again, this is similar to what we're doing in land and in air. If you remember back here, we set it to some default at the beginning, but then we fix it later on, depending on the situation. So we want to start with the default. So we're going to set the variable now to z state cling. So the state z state cling. Next, we want to set the vertical speed to 0. Let's do that. Now we're going to add a keyboard up event. It's a keyboard event. So here, up, what actions? Include a check object. We're looking for the wall object. Don't choose Object Zool Wall, but the actual wall itself. That's here. For X, we say facing, and for Y, we say -4. Say relative. That's checking to see if there's a wall there. If there is, so if there's a wall a little bit above Zool, then we want him to be able to climb up the wall. This conditional is going to control a set of actions. Let's start with our first one. We're going to set the vertical direction then, or vertical speed, to -4. We want him to climb up. Remember, Y is upside down. Next, we'll do z state climb as our state, so we'll update that. We'll use the constant. And then the closing block. And we do the same thing for going down, so I'm going to copy these, or something similar, at least going down. We'll add the down key. Paste those here. What do we change? We need to look down now, so we're adding to Y. And set the vertical speed to 4. We'll continue to set the climb state to climb. Next we add a key press space event. Notice a key press event, not a keyboard event. We want Zool to be able to release himself from walls, and we'll do this by jumping. Next we do a horizontal speed setting, and we want to set this equal to, I think the term is negative facing times 2. Remember, facing is either -1 or +1. So this will move us away from the wall by 2 pixels in the opposite direction that Zool is facing. That's what we want when we release from the wall. Next we set the vertical speed as well. We want him to jump up a little bit when he's jumping off the wall. So we're going to set the vertical speed to -15, which is up. Finally, we want to change to Object Zool Air, because now we're in the air. We just let go of the wall, so we got to change the object. And we're going to change to Object Zool Air. Perform events, yes. So that's it on the space. Now let's add a collision event with object solid. And here we're going to set variable x to x previous. Same thing for y. Include a move to contact action with direction set to direction, maximum -1, and against all objects. So that one's here. Keep going the same direction, and we're going to bump up against all objects, not just solid ones. And it's here that we update the state variable. So now we set state equal to z state cling. Z state cling. Just make sure that the climbing animation stops after a collision. So there's when you're all done, you should have 5 actions in your action window. Finally, we're going to add the end step event. This is where it determines what real state it's going to look like. And we're going to check to see if we're not on the wall in the direction we're facing. So here we say object wall, x equals facing, y equals 0 relative to Zool's location not. Trying to see if there's not a wall there. If there isn't, then we are in the air again, so we change objects into Object Zool Air, performing events. So next we're adding state transitions and sprite drawing to the wall state object. First we open up Object Zool LAN. We're going to add a check object to object wall in the end step event. So let's go there. And we'll copy these. There's one already there. But we need to do one for the wall now. So here we'll say object wall. And we're checking the direction we're looking. So we say facing and 0. Okay, we won't say not here. We're just checking to the way we're facing. If we see an object wall there, then we know we need to switch then to the, I think it's the cling state. Actually, we'll change to the Object Zool wall, forming events. So what that does is when we play the game, we end up transitioning to the cling state, or to the Zool wall if we hit the wall. So glad I was testing it. Let's take a look. land. So here in the create event for wall, I've got to get the state name right, so let me do that. So now when we try it, let's try it. You hit the wall. Notice that Zool disappears. The reason that would be is because we haven't added to the draw event yet. So we'll do those states in a second. All right, to the draw event. Now remember the draw event is in object Zool. So we'll go in there. You can see we have a few missing still. So we'll add the two states for object Zool. The state climb. If it's equal to climb, then we want to do Zool this word right, and we'll do it relative to its current location. Cling is a little bit different. In that you have to first change this to cling. But all cling is just a stop form of climbing. So what we do is we set the subimage to 1, and that will make it so he doesn't actually animate when he's not moving. And I'll grab those two and put them down below as well. There we go. Make the appropriate changes. Here we're looking to the left. Stopping the animation. This one we actually want the animation to occur. That's correct. Yeah, so I think we're set. Let's see how that works. You get to the wall. Oh, look, we're climbing. Cool. So now we can climb up to walls. That's neat. Hit the space bar to jump off. Climb up, jump, jump. With our drifting, it allows us to see how we didn't grasp onto the wall there. So if we walk into it, it's okay, but if we jump into it, it doesn't seem to transition. I guess that's the next step. We have a few problems still, however. If you'll note when he's climbing, he's kind of hanging in midair right there, so we have to fix that. And getting away from the wall is kind of a problem. You have to jump to get off the wall. So just a few things that we need to do to polish that. First of all, we go into Object Zool Wall, and we're going into the down event. And we're going to add an else action. So that's here. So this is what gets executed if this isn't true. We're looking for a wall the way we're facing. So if there's not a wall there, and we start a block, then we say change instance. And again, we're changing to Object Zool Air because we know we're not on the wall anymore. We perform events. Next, with the up event, you have this closing here. Here's the up key event. And edit this one. And this time we're going to say -22. So what we're trying to figure out is if the wall is going away 22 pixels above Zool's head. If that's the case, we want to do a different action, which is to stop climbing. Go and take a look at that. We'll see that he now gets to the wall, but he doesn't climb off the top of the wall. You see he's poised, ready to climb up, but not going off over the top. Here too, we'll put an else action. It's here. Then an open block. We want to set the vertical speed to -16, so we want him to kind of jump up in the air. So we'll set vertical speed here to -16. And we'll set the horizontal speed to facing. In this case, it will move 1 pixel per frame. So a small push towards the wall. Next, we want to change the instance to Object Zool Air as it does that. Now we've jumped up, we're detached from the wall, we need to be back in the air state. So let's change object. Object Zool Air, performing events. We'll pull out a end block. Let's try that. See what the effects are. All right, here I am. I'm on the wall. Cool. So now I can climb the wall and jump up on top. Notice I didn't have to hit the jump key at that time. I can just climb and it jumps already, which is neat. Probably should try it on the other side just to make sure. Oops, I'm missing looks like I'm missing something on the animation, but on the left side. Good thing I test both of them. All right, let's figure out what's going on there. I think that would be an Object Zool in the draw event. Something's not right here, on the left side at least. Okay, so if we're in the climbing state, climb left relative, that's right. I've got climb in there twice. It should be cling. So in the clinging state, then we stop. Let's make sure that's correct over here. Yeah, I think we've got it now. Let's try that again. Yeah, now it's working. I'm up on top. So tested both sides, seems like it's working well. Okay, so the next is a little bit more fine tuning. Object Zool wall. Okay, so we're in the in-step event. What we're trying to do here is so he doesn't get stuck on the wall. If he jumps into the top of the wall where his body hangs over a little bit above the platform, he can get stuck in that position. So we're going to try to fix that. So here, originally we were checking for a wall and facing. And this time, well, actually we want to make another test. So we'll paste this in. Here we'll say facing, but now we want to say -20. So we're looking up above, I guess. So if there isn't a wall at this position, then Zool's upper body is above the top of the wall. We include a jump to position, if that's the case. And we're going to set it 0, 5 for Y relative. So I'll scoot us down the wall to make us line up with the top of the wall. Next, we'd like to be able to get Zool to walk away from the wall without having to jump, or detach from the wall without having to jump. We're going to add a keyboard left event. And we're going to do a test variable to see if facing is equal to face right. Right after that, we'll do the check object. We want to check to see if we're on a platform. So do the platform, we'll say 1 relative. Okay, so in English, we check to see if we're facing right, and just hit the left key. But if we're facing to the right and there's a platform below us, then we start this sequence of blocks. First, we set the value of facing to face left. And then we change to object Zool land. So we know we're on the ground. We're trying to walk away from the wall, but we're already on the ground. Change the object then to object Zool land. So then that transition from wall to land should be smooth. Put a closing block in. We'll do the same thing for right, but just a different setup. So I'm going to duplicate this event. Keyboard right. And here we just change all the lefts to or rights to left. Or just invert them, I guess. Here, that's the same. Here, this will be right. And then finally, back to land. We'll save that, give it a try. Okay, I hit the wall, didn't quite work. Okay, so here's our check. We're trying to see if there's not a wall there. If there isn't a wall at this position, then Zool's upper body's above, and we want to lower it, so we do that here. And we get rid of that. I think that's what we want. Yeah. Going back then to end step, we want to check to see if we're a little bit above the wall. And if we are, just want to make sure if there's not a wall there, then we want to scooch ourselves down just a little bit. Let's try it again. Okay, hit the wall, climb, get to the bottom, transition. I didn't have to jump that time. Up to the top, try jumping into the top. Yeah, looks pretty good. So now it gives us the facility to walk into the wall and climb up it. All right, that looks good.